everybody, and welcome to another episode here at Tribal Trades, the daily show coming at you from the great state of Florida. One hell of a drug. And I do want to welcome you to the channel wherever you are tuning in from around the world. Thanks for watching. Today we're going to talk about the Thanksgiving dip. Is this the dip that keeps dipping, or are we done? What is in store for the rest of the week? How am I trading it? I am going to share those in just a moment there. But before we do that, let's smash that like button. This helps get the channel out to more people and does help support the channel. Thanks to all the people that leave your kind words and encouraging words in the comment section below. I do read and respond to every single one of those. And of course, all the questions that are in the comment section, I do get back to those as soon as I am able to. Now, for those of you who are new to the channel, welcome, of course. And I do have a crypto cheat sheet. It is free and it is linked in the description below this video. You might have to click the more button there, and then the description will pop out, and there's a top linked description. That is my crypto roadmap for success in this bull run. And if you had been watching those levels yesterday, you would have gotten some good little buys in, as I did there, just nibbling some of those. And I'll share more in the altcoin show coming later up. Also, the Discord link is below. There is a Black Friday special sale. So if you've been thinking about the Discord and you're wanting to sign up, there is a code below. I've added it in the description of this video. Just below the cheat sheet link, there's a link to the Discord. My X link is also below. For those of you who aren't in the Discord and would like more regular updates on the market, please start following me there on X. My link, my X handle is below there. You can check that out and a bunch of other great stuff. Those things are also in the cheat sheet. That is my go-to place for everything crypto. Okay, so we asked the question, will the dip keep dipping? And who could have warned you of this? Who could have foretold you of the dip that was coming? That's right. I did an emergency stream on Sunday, which I've never done before, to warn you that we were at a local top and a dip was likely incoming, as it previously had been in other years. And that's exactly what happened. And I was quite amazed to see so many people posting about how they were buying this level, this and this, and we were in altcoin season, was going to the moon. And I'm looking at the charts and I just wasn't seeing that. And all of a sudden today, people are starting to post about how, now there's a dip and so on. But on this channel, I told you first on Sunday. I even gave another follow-up warning yesterday on how to prepare for this dip, or on how I was preparing for this dip. So I know the Tribal Trades community was well prepared, wasn't buying big green candles, but were waiting for these big red candles that we have and can see. So what is coming up? Well, let's just recap some stuff. First of all, I did share on the Sunday, November 24th, historically, Bitcoin drops week of Thanksgiving. Last cycle was 17%. That takes us to around 83K. So are we going to get to 83K? We're going to look at that in a moment. History doesn't always repeat. Don't say you weren't given fair warning. Other Thanksgiving week drops have ranged between 6 to 10%. Right now, we're at 7% drop. So we're going to see if that is the lowest that we will get. And in other 2020 here, you can see that when we dropped, we started to drop. The drop was the Wednesday. So the drop happened on a Wednesday, and the low came in on Thursday, and then we're fully recovered by the following Monday. And then in 2021, it was a Sunday drop, and we didn't find the low until Black Friday, and that those losses had been rebounded and were recovered by Sunday. But of course, that was the start of the bear market, so we capitulated further than that. So the losses were back by Sunday. 2022, there was a Sunday drop and a Monday low. And this is my Twitter, by the way. This is me putting out my X. This is me putting this all out well before the drop happened, okay, giving everybody fair warning and opportunity to be prepared. We saw a Sunday drop and Monday low, rebounded by Thursday. So it doesn't look like we're following that pattern there. And then here we have 2023, the drop was Monday and the bottom was Wednesday. So I think possibly this might be a little bit more closer. We've had the initial drop on Monday, and then possibly let's see when the recovery day is. and then the recovery was fairly quick afterwards. And so with all of these themes, the drop happened. There was a recovery on or around the Thursday or Friday of Thanksgiving. The low, came in on that date, and then the recovery was Sunday, Monday kind of time frame. So those things had recovered. So just keep that in mind here. Did see a post here. Oh, suddenly somebody's coming out after the fact. Bitcoin, they say history doesn't repeat itself, but it often rhymes. And the last bull cycle, November 2020, price trying to break 20K, but it falls to 17 there. On that one there, so you can see how that there was a drop there for that. But thanks for coming out after the fact. If you're watching the Tribal Trades community here, part of the Tribal Trades community, you would have known that already. And of course, I was sharing a lot in the Discord. And so if you're not in the Discord, there is that Black Friday sale. It finishes on Friday. So check out the link and the code. There is a code that you have to use in the description below if you want to get signed up for that. So let's look at the charts and just see possibly where we could be going. And people yesterday were saying, oh yeah, but it's okay because we're in alt season and Bitcoin dominance is going down, except when it isn't, because it started to go back up again. Okay. And so we do have a lower low on the 4 hour. We have a lower low on the 4 hour. That's good. Okay. We also have a lower high on the 4 hour. What we want to see here is to make another lower high. And what could happen that as Bitcoin makes its recovery, well, first of all, it's got to find its bottom, and maybe the bottom is in. We'll talk about that in a moment. And then after it finds its bottom, then I would think that we kind of get rejected here at the 50-day moving average for Bitcoin dominance, or at the 200 EMA on the 4 hour time frame, and then maybe come down and create a lower low. And that's when alts will start to recover and we can get into a full-blown alt season there. But let's see what happens. If this creates a higher high on the 4 hour, then watch out for your altcoins, because you could see them start to bleed off a little lower. And that could happen. I'm really looking at the daily time frame. That's the one that I'm really most interested in. This is the bigger time frame. The 4 hours is a smaller time frame, but we have a higher high, and now we have a lower low here. We not only put a lower low than here, but also over here on the left side. So we've got the lower low, and now we want to see a lower high there. Of course, the 200 EM on the daily, this has not been broken. I think it hasn't been broken since, we'd have to go back, but I think 2023. So this would be a key level. Once we break under that, retest that, and reject at resistance, then we could see some real fireworks with altcoins. The 200 EMA on the daily, that's what I'm looking to see break down. Like I said, I don't believe we've been under it. Maybe back in 2023 sometime was the last time that we were under it. So let's look at price here. And as we can see, if you've been following the Tribal Trades cheat sheet, who could have given you these levels? Who could have given you these levels? People are saying, oh no, there's support at 95. Absolutely not. No support at 95. We just melted through that level down to exactly where I said the first stop would be. If you've been following this channel, if you've been following the Tribal Trades trend line, you shouldn't have bought any altcoins until Bitcoin had capitulated down to this level of 92,800. It's banged away. It's banging away again right now. I'll be looking to see, are we going to see a close? So the daily close, if we are under this level here, and I warned you about this on Sunday. I said in the Discord, that we saw, I posted in there that if we saw a weekly close below this 97,942 level, that we were likely going to come down there. That was a bearish close underneath here. It wasn't like here where we had closes above here and then we took off to the next level. Now we saw close below there. We saw another daily close below there, likely to see another daily close below there. And this could mean that if we close below here, a likelihood of coming down to this. And we may come down to this today. We may come down to the 89 to 88K. I don't think the dip is finished. Okay, now as far as probability goes, look, there's no guarantees in trading, only probabilities. And I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This channel is for education and entertainment purposes only. Are you not entertained? Okay, and so what I'm seeing here is I'm seeing some weakness here. We got a lot of sell pressure on this candle here. And so I'll be looking for Bitcoin to come below here, reject under, retest this here as support. Maybe we'll have a bit of a fake out here. And I'm looking, we could break it down to the 1 hour chart. We could see a little bit of a bust above and a fake out. We might have even already seen that already. Yeah, we've seen a little bit of, let's break to the 4 hour chart there. We've seen a little bit of a fake out there where we came up. See how we bounced off here? We came up and everybody goes, oh, it's okay, the dip's over, let's all buy it. No, you don't. Now we're back through here, and currently we're under this Fibonacci level here. So we're below it right now, and this is where you go to the 1 hour time frame and you really begin to break it down. And we've broken through, and now we're retesting and having a rejection. We want to wait to see this candle close, but if it breaks underneath there, then we have a clear rejection. So if you're in a trade on Bitcoin, if you're swing trading Bitcoin or leverage trading Bitcoin, that would be a place to close the trade, and also a place to get back in the trade. If it breaks back above, retest the support. You can even go to the 15-minute time frame to see this happening here, and you can see it happening in real time. We're coming down, and if we come back up, retest and reject, that would be a place to get out of the trade. And I, of course, like to see this on the 5-minute time frame here, and we aren't. Is that a rejection there? Pretty close. This is a rejection candle here anyway. So I would have been out of this trade if I was in a swing trade long with Bitcoin, which I'm not, because I predicted the market was going to go down, and that's exactly what has happened there. So there you have with Bitcoin. So what are the possibilities here? Well, I do think we are going to see a recovery as we normally have, and that recovery has normally happened. The low might be in today, or Wednesday, or possibly a Thursday or Friday. So we could see some more bleeding out. Now, there's a couple of scenarios that could take place. Number one, we could just bang around in this area here for a few days. And that's a scenario number one, that we lose this level, but we keep retesting it at resistance and weaken it, and then we break through. However, alts could bleed out a bit more because Bitcoin dominance is rising. So while this could be around the bottom level, around 92,000. Looks like we're about to go to 91 in a moment. That could be around this bottom area. Alts could bleed out a little bit more. Scenario number two, obviously, is we break back above this, we retest this as support for a few days, and then we pop off. So that scenario number one and two are very similar, except one kind of stays below here, which is more bearish for alts. Mind you, people will start to think, oh, we're below a key Fibonacci level. Maybe we're coming down to here, get out of the altcoin positions. Whereas if we break above here and we retest and hold as support, that would be more bullish for altcoins. And I think Bitcoin dominance would begin to go down again. And I think if we're below here, I think Bitcoin dominance begins to go up again. Okay, so there's two scenarios there. Scenario number three is that we continue to break down and we retest this level here and we hold as support. Okay, and that becomes our low around the 89,000 level. There, maybe we wick down to it, but we close above it. And we could see the same situation where we close a little bit below. We do have a Lux Algo order block there. It's not super huge. There below that, and then we bang around there before moving up. And of course, the scenario that nobody really wants to consider is that straight drop down to $83,000. We do have some. You can see there is some activity there. And this is what I was saying about 95,000. There's nothing there, people. There's nothing there. There's nothing like this there. And even this isn't a whole lot of support. Sit down, those people who said that was only going to 95,000. It was never just going to go down to 95,000. It was always going to lose that level and drop at least to this level. And I told everybody here that it was at least going to go to that 6 to 7% level at the least. And we may now see 10%. 10% would take us down to this 89,000 level. And would you believe it that around 17% is going to take us down to this $83,000? 20% drop would take us down to 79. So I do see those levels there. Right now, I do see we'll play it level to level. And I think this level is the most likely scenario. Now, again, you've got to trade in probabilities. And so have your setups accordingly. I've always said, have those stop losses in place, have your buy orders in place there. And I'm going to talk to you in the next show how I've been navigating and setting up and purchasing altcoins and which altcoins I've been purchasing in this little dip. Really, it's little nibbles, which altcoins I've been nibbling at. And also, we're going to cover some charts in a couple of hours on the Altcoin show around 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And let's look at our liquidation heat map here just to conclude here. So you see there is still a lot of liquidity to come down and get here at 91. I think while we're down here, the market makers are going to come and get that. So I do believe we continue to drop lower under that Fibonacci level that we just have. You can see we're taking out all these liquidity levels. Look at all the liquidity levels that have been taken out. And there is some liquidity starting to appear above price at 94. So there might be a short-term bounce, come up and get that and boom back down again. Or maybe we'll come and leave that for later on the rebound, because historically there has been a rebound. As I've shared, price has historically always recovered by around that Sunday, by the time we get to that Sunday, Monday time, and then it's off to the races for December for the Christmas rally has historically been what's happened. If we go to the 24-hour time frame on the liquidation heat map, we do see, look at this, a lot of liquidity above price. I was showing how we had a lot of liquidity below price, and I felt that the market makers were going to take the time to go down and get all that liquidity before coming back, and they're going to grab all of this liquidity here as well. We go to the 48-hour chart, and of course you see again liquidity, people starting to go long, building to the top. Sorry, people starting to go short. People are starting to short the market, all that liquidity building there. But look at this. This is going to come and get got. If you think that Bitcoin's not going to come back to 99 to 100,000, the market makers are not going to leave all this liquidity on the table here. The bull run is not over, in my opinion. And then, of course, you got liquidity there. We still have some liquidity to the downside, 90,000, 115 million down there. And this is why I'm saying we might see, we could possibly see a little bit of a spike down into that 89K area with all that liquidity at 90. We could see it spike down here. If we go back to the charts just as we finish off here, there's Bitcoin dominance. We could see the spike down here, and this could be the level. This is probably my most favored level at the moment. This would give us about a 10% drop and would be a fairly light drop. Remember, when we had major corrections in Bitcoin, it's generally been around 20% and no more than 30%. And the Thanksgiving drop was 17% 4 years ago. So that didn't even get to a 20% threshold. But that's when Bitcoin was having normal corrections of 40%. So the norm for Bitcoin back then was 40 and 50%. It would correct. If you're new to this bull run, you haven't had a 30 or 40% Bitcoin correction. I can tell you it is scary, and alts get obliterated. And this is why I've kind of gone with this 10%, because I feel like it's been around, the last Thanksgiving has been around half. You know, in the last halving in November 2020, the Bitcoin correction was around about half of what you normally get on a big correction on Bitcoin. And November being the most bullish month there, I do feel that this here will look to come down and tag this area. We may not come as low as 83. It certainly is a possibility, and I will update tomorrow. Obviously, you've got to have the ability to pivot as a trader and adapt. If I see certain new things develop in the charts, then I'm likely to update and say, hey, I do think we're coming down this A3. At the moment, this is the level here that I think that we are most likely to come down to. I've given you some scenarios now. Be prepared for all of them. And if you haven't seen my Thanksgiving survival guide that I posted yesterday, watch that video from Monday, yesterday, and because I'm not going to repeat a lot of that stuff already about how I was planning to prepare for this. If you want to know how I prepared for this and how I'm trading this, you'll need to watch yesterday's video. Okay, that's all for today. And as always, I will see you on the next time in the next session, which is in a couple of hours, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, the Altcoin show. And until then, happy trading.